All right, let's dive into something that might just completely change how you think about consciousness. We're going to explore a really revolutionary framework that suggests physics and the soul aren't just compatible, they're actually part of the exact same system. Okay, seriously, just pause and think about this for a second. You've got that voice in your head, right? The one that's narrating everything, but you're also aware of it. You're listening to it. So who is that listener? Which one is the real you? This simple question is the key that unlocks one of the biggest mysteries of our existence. So, this framework says we're kind of walking around with two different eyes. First, there's the brain's pseudo-eye. That's the loud one, the narrator. It's reactive, it's shaped by memories and habits. But the idea here is that it's just a construct. Underneath all that noise is the soul's true eye, the real you. It's stable, it's coherent, and it's permanent. The whole challenge of our lives, really, is that the brain's chatter can totally drown out the signal from our true self. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to throw out our old definition of the mind. We usually think the mind is where our thoughts come from, but this model, it flips that idea completely on its head. And that brings us to this really cool concept called the menta field, or M field for short. The key here is that it's not an energy field, it's an information field. It's like software, not hardware. It's basically a projection, a user interface that your soul projects onto the brain so it can interact with the physical world. I mean, this analogy just nails it, right? Your mind, that whole stream of thoughts, feelings, and images. It isn't you. It's just the screen you're looking at. The actual thinker, the real user, is sitting somewhere else, just using the mind as a tool to navigate reality. So what's the actual pathway here? How does this all work? Well, the most crucial part is that it doesn't start in your head. According to the framework, consciousness actually originates from the soul. From there, it anchors into the body through what's called a heart port. Then it gets processed by the brain, and only then does it show up for us as the mind, our inner world. All right, so if the mind is just the screen, who's holding the remote? Where is the real you in all this? That's where we get to the absolute core of this model, the soul. And this is probably the most radical idea in the whole framework. It's a game changer. For centuries, we've been told consciousness is in the brain, but this model suggests the primary anchor for our true self isn't that noisy, chaotic brain at all. It's the stable, coherent center of our being, the heart space. And this is that true I we were talking about right at the start. It's called the soul field, or S field. This is the permanent, non-physical carrier of your deepest identity. It's your consciousness, your will, your values. It's who you are, totally independent of your body or brain. It's not created by the brain, and it's not destroyed when the body dies. But you might be thinking, why the heart? That sounds more poetic than scientific. Well, the framework actually gives a physics-based explanation. It describes the heart area as the most stable place in the body to anchor a deep, coherent field. It's a point of maximum stability and minimum interference, which makes it the perfect, quiet port for the high-frequency soul to connect with our low-frequency physical body. Okay, now this is where things get really, really interesting. If you thought that was mind-bending, hold on, because the you that's here right now is apparently just the tip of the iceberg. So get this, the framework basically says that the part of your soul that's actually in your body, the local soul, is maybe 5–10% of the whole shebang. The other 90+%, that's your higher soul, and it's existing at a much, much higher frequency. Which, of course, leads to the obvious question, why? Why would only a tiny piece of you show up for the party? Why not bring your whole self along for the ride? Well, there are a few big reasons. The main one is just frequency incompatibility. The physical world is a very dense, low-frequency place. Trying to cram a full, high-frequency soul into it would basically be impossible, and probably destructive. This also protects your core identity from the trauma and grit of physical life. Think of it this way. It's like sending a heavily armored, remote-controlled drone into a really harsh environment instead of walking in there yourself. So, if this bigger, wiser part of us is out there, well, can we talk to it? Can we get some advice? How does that connection even work? Now, the first thing to get is that it's not like making a phone call. You can't just dial up your higher soul and ask for tomorrow's winning lottery numbers. It's way more subtle. It's like tuning an old-school radio. You have to quiet the static and carefully turn the dial to find the right frequency. It's a process of resonance and intuition. And the crazy thing is, you've probably felt these signals your whole life without knowing what they were. That deep gut feeling you can't explain, that sudden moment of absolute clarity, a sense of direction that just feels right, or even your moral compass that comes from a place deeper than logic. This model says those are all signals from your larger self trying to guide you. So is it possible to make that signal stronger? To turn up the volume? Absolutely. And it's all about one thing: reducing the noise from that pseudo-I in your brain. Through stillness, like meditation, by focusing your awareness on your heart space, by getting into flow states where that noisy ego just disappears, that's how you quiet the static. And that's when you can finally hear the subtle, quiet signal of your true self. So when you boil it all down, it comes to this one huge paradigm-shifting idea. The brain isn't a factory that creates consciousness. It's more like a radio receiver. Consciousness is a fundamental aspect of reality that your brain simply tunes into, processes, and allows you to experience. And that leaves us with one last massive question to think about. If who you truly are, your identity, your consciousness, your real potential, isn't actually limited to the 3 pounds of tissue inside your skull, but is part of a vast, non-local field, then what are you truly capable of? What are the real limits?